Welcome to Tectonic Nights channel. Here's day 4 of solving Pandas LeetCode problems. In today's video, we'll be focusing on data aggregation in Pandas. We'll walk through some of the most common methods for aggregating data, explaining how they work using a Jupyter notebook. First problem is to find the total time spent by each employee. We are given a table called employees with 4 columns: employee ID, event day, in time, and out time. The goal is to calculate the total time in minutes spent by each employee on each day at the office. Let's look at the provided example. Here's the data frame we are working with. First, we calculate the time spent for each entry by subtracting in time from out time. This is a row-wise operation where we calculate the difference for each row individually. Next, we need to group the data by employee ID and event day to calculate the total time per employee per day. We can check the grouping by using .describe method, and by inspecting the index we can see that we have 4 groups now, each corresponding to a unique combination of employee ID and event day. Once we have the data grouped, we move on to the next step, which is aggregating the total time spent by each employee on each day. To do this, you use .ag method, specifying the column and aggregation operation. In this case, it is sum. Here's the resulting data frame after aggregation. As you can see, the result has employee ID and event day as a multi-index, since we grouped by both columns. Finally, after aggregation, we can use .resetIndex method to flatten the multi-index, returning a clean data frame with total time spent by each employee on each event day. Next problem is gameplay analysis. We are given a data frame with the following columns: player ID, device ID, event date, and games played. The task is to find first login date for each player. To find the first login date for each player, we first need to group the data by player ID. This ensures that we can calculate the first login date for each individual player. After grouping the data by player ID, we can check the grouping by using describe method. By inspecting the index, we can see that the data is grouped into 3 groups based on the unique player ID values. Now that we have grouped the data, we can use .ag method with the min function to get the earliest or the first login date for each player. After performing the aggregation, the resulting data frame will have player ID as the index. We can use .resetIndex to flatten it. Next problem is number of unique subjects taught by each teacher. We are given a table teacher with 3 columns: teacher ID, subject ID, and department ID. The goal is to calculate number of unique subjects taught by each teacher at the university. Let's walk through the steps to solve this problem. The first step is to group the data by teacher ID. This allows us to calculate the number of subjects taught by each individual teacher. We need to calculate the number of unique subjects taught by each teacher. Count function would give us a total number of subjects. To avoid counting the duplicate subjects, we can use nUnique function, which ensures that only unique subjects are counted for each teacher. Next problem is classes more than 5 students. We are given a table courses with 2 columns, student and class. The task is to find all the classes that have at least 5 students. Let's walk through the steps. First, we need to group the data by class. Then we need to count the number of students in each class. This can be done using .ag method with count function. Note that it is given that the combination of student and class is unique. Therefore, after grouping by class, there is no need to use nUnique function here. Now we need to filter the classes that have at least 5 students. We can achieve this by applying a condition to the student count column. Then we apply this condition to the data frame to keep only the rows where the student count meets the criteria. Finally, we select just the class column. Next problem is find the customer who placed the largest number of orders. We are given a table called orders with 2 columns, order number and customer number. Task is to identify the customer number who has placed the most orders. First, we group the data by customer number. Next, we aggregate the data using count function on the order number column. This gives us the order count for each customer. We need to find the customer with maximum order count. Now we can filter the data frame to get the customers with the highest order count. Finally, we return the customer number column from the result. Next problem is group sold products by the date. We are given a table called activities with two columns, sell date and product. The task is to find for each date number of different products sold and their names. First, we group the data by sell date so that we can calculate number of different products sold on each date. We need to perform two aggregations for each sell date. We can use nUnique function on product column to count the distinct products sold. We need to join the names of the product sold with comma as a separator. We can use lambda function here in each aggregation step. We use the unique function to ensure that the product names are distinct. Finally, we sort the product names using sorted function. Next problem is daily leads and partners. We are given a table called daily sales with four columns: date ID, make name, lead ID and partner ID. The task is to calculate number of distinct lead IDs and partner IDs for each combination of date ID and make name. First, we group the data by date ID and make name, since we need to calculate distinct lead IDs and partner IDs for each combination of these two columns. We will then apply two aggregation operations. First one is to count distinct lead IDs for each group. Next is to count distinct partner IDs for each group. We can use nUnique function to count the unique values for both lead ID and partner ID. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. See you next time.